Welcome back, universe, to Off the Rails. This week, we're going to have author T. Krulos on with his new book, American Madness. It was an excellent read. Hard to put down book. He also authored Monster Hunters, Apocalypse Any Day Now, and Heroes of the Night. They're all sitting up there on the bookshelf. But before we get started, Molly, we need a bad joke monologue, theme.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. This week, this was actually last week. This is old news. The Rock and his family have contracted COVID.
Uh-oh.
They found out because they could no longer smell what The Rock is cooking.
That's a good one.
Hey, that's your best yet.
That I stole from
Oh,
Chris
of course it's not yours.
It's not mine.
Did I not pull up your new thing?
What you think?
Your new email with the...
Okay, I don't know what Molly's talking about, but we'll keep going.
Okay.
Scientists discover area of the brain that controls sexual desire in men. One thing we can be sure is that if these scientists think it's in the brain, they flunked geography. See, I'm getting a little better at
It's
these
getting
jokes.
better. Yeah,
Getting a little better.
absolutely.
All right, Kim Kardashian is getting rid of all her social media accounts.
Thank God.
It will probably last longer than I would with her.
Where's the rim shot on that one?
Come on, Molly, I get a rim
Molly.
shot? No? All right.
A little slow.
Sorry.
Oh, Mo, I had a prop for this, but we forgot it at the house. I can't even do this joke.
Well, you
The
didn't tell me
fish-
you had a problem.
The
You did.
Yes, I did. All right, that joke's
Shit.
gone. Never mind.
You can't do it without the prop.
No, I need
Next week.
Next week we'll do it. All right.
Yeah,
Carry over.
it'll be old.
Hand sanitizer recalled in Michigan because it was incorrectly labeled edible alcohol. It's back on the shelves and now is labeled drinkable alcohol.
God.
Chris Evans accidentally posted a picture of his womb broom on Instagram, and the internet came to his defense. You should see the ads that I'm getting now that I Googled Chris Evans' dick.
Oh my God. Is that your excuse to Molly?
Yeah, I was working, babe.
I was working.
All right, Cutie's backlash causes Netflix cancellation to go up 8-fold. Phone calls with the phrase, "Ma, did you change the Netflix password?" also went up 8-fold.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, that one. All right.
I'm still
I
trying,
think it's funnier when there's a delay on the rim shot.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out who Chris Evans is.
the delay on the crickets.
Scientists find the world's oldest sperm, 100 million years old in amber. Even people back then knew amber.
She was always a slut.
Everyone knows amber. Since then,
I saw that one coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
since COVID hit, phone calls to Amber asking you up went up 8-fold. That's a callback joke. Come on, I'm getting a little better. All right. And finally, Molly got her hair done this week. Check it out.
Yeah.
She went in and asked for the Karen apprentice.
This is not even close to a Karen haircut.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
What Karen is going to get purple hair?
You want to speak to the assistant manager. You're the
Well,
Karen.
did you see this week they did a Brady one with the Karen hair? He was complaining, I want to see the manager. He's out in the field and he had the Karen hair.
I
It was
saw that.
great. It was
Whoever
awesome.
photoshopped that is brilliant.
I know.
Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark.
All right, Miles back. All right, Miles going to do her bad joke monologue. Let's hear one, Mo.
I've got nothing.
She got nothing.
You got nothing. All
I
right.
need more time to change out of your weird, skyline.
All right. Tell the manager, Molly. All right. This week, we got T. Krulos in the house coming to us from Milwaukee. He's author of Heroes in the Night, Monster Hunters, Apocalypse Any Day Now, and his new book, American Madness. I don't think I've ever read 4 books from the same author. Wait, Harry Potter. Crap.
Stephen King?
But there is a conspiracy, T, that J.K. Rowling did not write Harry Potter.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that one.
she is a figurehead, and they actually took all marketing companies in and tried to make the most like edible movie that there is.
Oh, wow.
And she's just an actress playing J.K. Rowling. She didn't actually write the books.
I've never heard that. Are you serious or are you making that up?
No, I'm serious.
Wow.
So she's
There's a very similar theory about Andrew W.K. that he's not actually one person, that he's just sort of a team of actors that portray the same person.
Andrew W.K. is my dad's name.
WK are my initials.
There you go. All right, T, you also are an investigative journalist. You give haunted tours in Milwaukee, and today we talk some conspiracy theories that turned out to be true, and we're gonna dive deep into your book. But first, here's what we always like to do with everybody. Molly,
What?
you move the hot seat button.
It's the hot seat! Wow, yeah! It's the hot seat! Hot seat! The hot seat!
That's enough.
I was getting into it.
All right, T. What is a conspiracy theory that you would like to start?
That I'd like to start. Someone started a conspiracy theory, I think, that I wish I could have started myself, and that is that I am an alias of Chrissy Teigen.
I saw that in the book. Who is
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen?
Chrissy Teigen,
John Legend's wife.
yeah, John Legend's wife. She's a TV personality. She does cooking shows and stuff like that.
But doesn't this face-to-face interview blow that out of the water?
No, I could totally be a deep fake, or something. So.
It's true. She's delightful. I love her. I think she's great.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Introduce her. There she is.
You can get an autographed copy of the book.
The conspiracy theory I would like to start is T. Krulos is taking over as the Phantom Patriot.
Oh, well, no thanks.
No.
Thanks.
What would be your day of perfect meals? Breakfast, then dinner, then lunch. Best things you could have.
Breakfast would be a huevos rancheros plate. Lunch, let's say grilled cheese and soup. Dinner, I'm going to go with pizza just because that's the first thing that pops in my mind.
Okay. I don't know. I would like Cracker Barrel breakfast, chicken wings for lunch with no shirt on, and then ribeye steaks for dinner. And then a plumber to fix my bathroom. This is something I've always bitched about, but should a meter maid be allowed to chalk your car's tire?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't either. I mean, that's how they know how long you've been there. Like if you have 4-hour parking or something.
Is this
It's
some destruction of property? Is that what you're claiming?
Well, they're writing on my car. Like, what if the meter maid did, say, a swastika for its chalk mark?
Well, I don't think they'd be employed for very long.
Yeah, but don't write on my car, right? I can't just walk up to somebody's car and start writing on it.
Do they even do that anymore, though?
Yeah.
Really?
Fort
yeah, I've
Washington,
seen
they
them do it. Yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
Now I know I have a new cause.
Cause you're gonna yell at a meter maid.
That's right. I'm going to park intentionally and just wait.
Well, it's all over the internet.
Yeah.
If you look on YouTube, there's people yelling at meter maids.
It's like those, have you seen those cart narcs? Have you seen those videos? It's
No.
the guys that are in the Target and Walmart parking lots and they yell at people for not putting their carts back. And the confrontation they get from these people is outrageous.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
So we can start our own version of it with meter maids. Could be meter maid narcs or something along those lines.
Don't write on my tire.
That's right.
It's not yours, right?
I think we're onto something.
All right. T, what are some unwritten rules that your parents had growing up?
Unwritten rules?
I can start because I'll give you time to think here. My unwritten rule growing up was if I made my parents laugh, I wasn't in trouble. So I remember, you don't mind if we swear on here, right, P? You're fine?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, good. So I was driving in the car. I must have been like 7 or 8 with my mom, and Do What Diddy came on. And I'm like, this is going to be gold. This is going to be great. So it goes like, do what diddy, diddy, dum, diddy, do. And I'm like flipping her finger saying, screaming, fuck you. I got just this from my mom.
Oh boy.
I don't think she heard the whole thing. I was expecting like her to crash the car laughing, so I
And she just heard you say "fuck you."
yeah, and that was it.
It wasn't funny.
I was grounded. So
Yeah.
any
Mine
unwritten rules
was,
with you? I know. Yep. If you made them laugh, I wasn't grounded. So
no, mine was I couldn't swear at all. So I could not only not say like fuck or asshole or things like that, but I couldn't say like God dang it or son of
Really?
a gun, you know. Could not swear in any form. So
what type of words did you come up with? Like son of a biscuit, could you say? Or
I know, I mean even stuff like that. You know,
Wow.
they didn't. So I really bit my
It was like
tongue
that in my
a
family.
lot and kind of bottled it in.
I love son of a biscuit.
what did you say when you were a kid?
Oh, we couldn't even say I swear. That would get Tabasco or red pepper in your mouth. Yeah.
And you got good Tabasco down
So
there.
promise to goodness, goodness gracious, it was like ridiculous.
I couldn't say son of a biscuit as a kid. My
Why?
mom would have.
Your mom's the church lady. She's Dana Carvey's church lady.
Isn't that
There's
special?
still an intended curse word there, and as a child,
Right?
yeah, that would have been bad.
Molly's mom is the church lady. And then one day, out of the blue, she walks up to me and goes, I bought a pistol. Could you teach me how to shoot it? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And we went to Kettle Moraine.
And she was good.
She was good.
Wow.
And she had the big Joker grin too when she
Yeah.
knocked the first clay pigeon down that I set up for her.
Mhm.
It was just out of the blue weird, sitting there half hungover. Hey, you want to teach me how to shoot this pistol I bought?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew Jesus was a card-carrying member of the NRA?
I'm like, holy crap. Okay, let's go. All right. In the movie Alive, say William dies first and you die right after. Would your ghost self be offended if I dug into William first and ate him?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I'd be dead.
No, you would chalk it up to like just rotating the stack.
Right.
You gotta eat stuff in the
You want the
bench.
freshest meat, right?
Well, no, then he would have been the freshest. if
Oh,
he dies after
I
you.
died first.
Yeah, you died first, but I still ate you.
Well, you go with what you know. You don't know what he's going to taste like. Seriously. All right, I'm already used to this guy. Might as well just continue.
I guess it would depend on what part that it would make me offended or not.
Okay. Say I ate your calf, like a nice roast with potatoes around it. No,
Where are you getting the potatoes from?
Right?
Oh yeah, I probably should just eat the potatoes.
Why not just eat the potatoes?
I mean,
He goes to cannibal right away. There's potatoes and vegetables everywhere. He's like, I'm going to eat this guy.
I'm not just a vegetarian. We gotta take it.
I guess.
That's going bad. I don't know. What would you be offended if I put your wiener on a bun and ate it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't care. I really, because I can't. I don't believe in ghosts.
You're from.
I
New
know.
Orleans and you don't
Most
believe in
people,
ghosts?
most people in my family, I kind of outgrew it. I think I used to when I was a kid because that's big. We have to talk about the ghost tours because I would love to go because we did that in Louisiana and Marie Laveau and the voodoo and all of that. It's exciting. I enjoy it, but it's kind of after a while, it's like,
The thing about T's ghost tours is it's like a rich history of Milwaukee. along
yeah,
with the ghost
I would
tours.
absolutely love to see that.
Plus, you get to spend the night with this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's worth the adventure.
T
right
is
there.
about 7'9". You would not believe how big this guy is.
He's exaggerating, right? 7'9"?
Not quite.
You
Close,
can dunk
not
without
quite.
jumping. Come on.
I'm 6'5.5".
Okay. 6'5", 7'9". That's quite an
6'5"
exaggeration.
and a half. Don't cut him short. Dude.
That's quite an exaggeration. 7'9".
Well, when you
6'5".
walk up to him for the first time, you're like, "Whoa, T! Holy!" How often do you wash your jeans?
I kind of circulate them in and out every week. I do laundry every week, so at least one pair of jeans gets into the laundry, and the other pair of jeans is just kind of surviving through the rest of the week.
I don't wash them much.
I don't either. I mean, just like he did, I'll have two that I'll wear, and then if it gets a stain on it, then it goes in
Yeah,
the dirty
exactly.
clothes. But for the most part, and I'll wash one, and then I'll have another one, and just kind of rotate them out. Same way.
Molly, is it different for women? How often do you wash your jeans? Because you got more of a situation
Oh my God.
down there.
How rude.
Well, I mean, right? No?
Mm,
I think that gives off more perfunctory than,
I'm not touching
right?
that.
Okay, we won't.
I wear jeans multiple times.
Mhm.
Um,
Don't they
But-
fit better like the third or fourth time?
they fit just as well. I probably wear a pair of jeans like 3 times
3 times?
before I wash them.
I'm going like 10.
Oh, I'm not going that long. 10, 3 to 5.
Well, I'm a clean individual, so they're
Oh, so am I.
dirtier
shower
until I
daily.
put them on. You shower
But you-
daily?
Yes.
Every Saturday.
Every morning.
I'd make sure those 2 chairs don't get ever switched around.
Right. I
I mean,
want to put my
there-
name on my chair.
there's-
Don't you funking mine
there's-
up,
yeah,
man.
there's a whole lot of funk.
Doing the day 10 sitting in my chair. No,
So much fun.
And I've been in Molly's jeans 3 times on top of it. We're just mixing it all in.
No wonder there's an air freshener under that side of the
Yeah, these
table.
were expensive. Cheers.
Oh, I thought you
Rotted
said the
through the
jeans.
last All right, T, the most important question we all got for you. You travel all over the country. What is the best place to poop?
What city you mean? Or
Any bathroom. Because I found my best place, but it's going to be different because you travel the whole country.
I'm gonna say I'm happy with any stall that has ample room. Some of them are, as you mentioned, I'm kind of a big guy, so if you're in one of those little tiny bathroom stalls, like you don't even have enough elbow room, so makes it an awkward experience. So I appreciate any bathroom that has plenty of leg room.
Yeah, T's got a wide stance.
Yeah.
So when I went to college, I would go to the School of Nursing building. It's like 95% chicks. I didn't even have to close the door of the stall or nothing. Nobody was bugging you. It was the best. And then chicks run the place, so you got nicer bathrooms than regular.
How did you manage to end up in there?
I'm in the medical field, and I got friends that are going to nursing. We take the same classes, and it's like, as long as I'm here, you know,
Okay.
I'll do a road win. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Ron's inviting you to use his bathroom.
See, I was fun. I searched for the library. Libraries always have the cleanest bathroom because no one uses them.
Oh, well, there's a lot of homeless people in the libraries I've been to.
No, you got to go to the grocery store.
Grocery store.
Nobody shits where they eat. So
Yeah, I've
Hey,
never
that's
been
true.
to a grocery
Except
store
you.
bathroom.
no, because I work construction, and instead of going to the gas station, I'm like, hey, pull in the pick and save. I won't be bugged. Telling you.
Well,
Pick and save.
basic training when I was on 1977 in the Army in Georgia, open bay. So it's just bunk beds, rows of them. And the bathrooms were just no stall, just toilets, one right next to it. No, nothing in between.
So you just, it
That's
was
the
like
way
this.
it is, man. That's the
It's
way
like Full Metal
that you
Jacket.
become a real unit then. You know what I'm saying? You become very close.
Molly's dad
No
was on a
privacy.
ship where at the end of the ship, you just crapped off the boat.
Really?
Yeah, they had like basically it had a what was like a pier with a hole in it, like you sat in it.
Wow. I've never
Into
heard
the
of
ocean.
that.
Yeah.
And was that the U.S. Navy?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just realized, guys, that my name has been Tom since we came back.
Oh, there you go.
It's hard to hear that.
Molly's dad got stung by a jellyfish in the Navy and had to have a chick pee on his face.
Oh, wow. I saw
think
that
he's lying
video.
about the jellyfish.
I saw that video.
I always give him crap. Like, there was no jellyfish.
You just wanted to be slick.
Does that really help, though, to have someone pee on this thing?
Yeah, sure. Even if it's fake, placebo effect.
Better be safe than sorry.
Wasn't
I've
that
never
on
been
their-
stung.
Wasn't the story that was on their honeymoon though?
It was a recently married husband and wife, and your dad as the third wheel.
No.
Your dad got stung in the face and had this guy's wife pee on his face.
On his face. I saw that video, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
get your dad on. He tells the
Mhm.
story off. He had
Really?
to convince a dude to let his new bride pee on another man's face on the
So,
beach.
so
So
the
if it was
question,
a
the
dude,
question.
why wouldn't the dude be peeing on his
Right.
face?
Exactly. That's what I.
Well,
because your dad had a
come on.
choice.
That would be kind of gay, though.
And,
Yeah,
and,
your
where,
dad's-
and where his eyes open or closed.
Jeez. I'm not gonna let
just
a dude
saying
pee on my
it's
face.
easier.
I want to party with your dad. He sounds like fun.
It was a good time. All right, T, you're off the hot seat. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, maybe you're interested in a career in real estate after this very successful book, email Roy at cbhsr.com, or give him a call, 414-235-0763. They'd love to be your go-to for all your real estate needs. Molly, did they send the new 3D graphic?
No, there's a new 3D graphic.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay, we don't have it, but all right. Twisted Dreams is still up for October 1st through the 4th. Virtually, we'll be interviewing Michael Fosty of Dead Celebrities, playing his first feature film, Exit. We didn't like it. We got to interview the guy, and we didn't like the movie. That sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How are you going to do
It was-
that?
Maybe
I
we
liked
should-
his last
Just
movie.
ask a lot of questions. Yeah, talk about that and just ask a lot of
Maybe
questions.
So
we
yes.
should watch it again
Watch it again. There you go. Maybe it'll be better the second time.
to give you more insight.
Or maybe
Okay.
after you interview him, then you can watch it.
I
with
think
that knowledge.
they're gonna premiere it, and then we're gonna do the interview after.
Oh, okay.
So we will watch it again beforehand. But come check out Lloyd Kaufman. He's doing a Q&A live October 3rd, Saturday. Get your tickets. It's going to be a blast. We're going to be filming either today or tomorrow. Are you triggered yet? We're going to be interviewing Dr. Destruction down at the Kenosha Haunted Manor. Molly, you want to talk about the movie we're making too?
What movie?
The one where you get naked?
What movie?
All right, Molly's going to get naked in a film I wrote called Plans Change. It's going to be awesome.
Ron, he's reading your comments. He put some of those up.
Yeah, I'm reading something else too, Ron. So speaking of Molly naked, we're doing giveaways Wednesdays, but since Molly got her Karen due this Wednesday, we didn't get to do it this week.
Yeah,
You didn't come home till about 9.
it takes a long time.
You were 4:30 to 9. That's a hair appointment.
Yeah,
T, how long does it take for you to get your hair done?
Probably about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Over it.
she had to bleach the highlights that were going purple, and then dye, and then let it sit, and then rinse it, and then dye some more, and let it sit.
Oh my God,
It's a
I'm so
process.
bored.
It's a process.
So bored.
Come on.
Holy crap. Okay, Big
I
Laugh
think your hair
Comedy
looks great.
And then
Network.
she cut and styled it too.
She cut and styled it.
All right, great. Her head gets buried in the pillow anyway. It doesn't matter what her hair looks like. It's fine.
Ooh.
Big Laugh Comedy Network. Hey, we're joining it. Bit of a change. We got William and Michael stepping in, taking over. It's going to be great. Check out Big Laugh Comedy Network. We'll be on Amazon Fire Stick. We'll be on Roku TV. We're going to be still here bugging the crap out of you. So, all right, T, before we get into your book, which I can't wait to do, I want to get into a couple conspiracy theories that might be cool because I know you do a ton of that. But the latest one that just came out this week is, and I think it's true, Big Oil misled the public to believing that plastic would be recycled. So they have people who, bigwigs, saying that it doesn't matter if you recycle, we still just bury it. The cost of turning recycled plastic into new plastic is very expensive, and you can only do it 1 or 2 times. So if we even started it, we wouldn't be able to figure out which Coke bottle or bottle of water was already recycled. So they just throw it out now.
Hasn't China stopped accepting it too? Because for a while
Yep.
they were sending it to China.
Yes.
That's why you told me you weren't recycling anymore.
What the hell? Jeez, William. So T, have you heard?
What's going on?
I don't know. William's getting me all. T, have you heard this? Recycling doesn't do anything.
Well, it sounds like something that could be true. I know that it's always been difficult to facilitate recycling just because everything gets dumped on these conveyor belts and a lot of stuff jams up the machines. A lot of people screw it up because they throw stuff that can't be recycled into recycling bins. So a lot of it just gets rejected and
They say
thrown in
Pringle
the
cans
garbage.
are the worst.
So, I mean, this is a good thing, though. A lot of conspiracy theories have some element of truth to them. So this sounds like something that could be true on some level. I haven't really heard this in particular, though.
Okay.
So I would,
It's
want
on
to find some notable
npr.org
information.
is where I got this site. I can send that to you.
But
It came
cardboard
from where?
good, right?
No, they're kind of well. I think this is more for plastic. What they're saying is big oil makes plastic
Right.
out of oil.
Right.
So why would they want it to be reused?
Right. Because you're not
Stuff like
using their
that.
oil. Yeah, I get it.
I
Because it's
heard
bad for the environment,
I'm
maybe.
gonna post that here. Here's the link to the
What was your source?
npr.org.
Okay.
Right there. I just put it in the comments if anybody wants to check that out.
Sure. So NPR is a pretty solid source.
Mm-hmm.
I heard as well that like lots of people don't realize that if you don't rinse out all of your containers enough, if you don't get the stuff out of them, they reject them. So people just throw, a bottle in there without rinsing it, and it doesn't get recycled.
Yeah, and new plastic is super cheap, I guess. So why would they take all the time futzing around when it's just the bottom dollar comes down to we're just going to make some new stuff.
Yeah.
So, and why I wanted to do a little bit of conspiracy theory is the main part of your book. I mean, it revolves around people who go into the rabbit hole, right? And just keep going way further and way further. So American Madness is a story about Richard McCaslin. That's his name.
Yes.
And he is the Phantom Patriot. And T, since you wrote the book, why don't you do a better job than me and just say what it's all about? Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So in 2010, I was working on my first book, which I've talked about on Off the Rails before, Heroes in the Night. It's about this somewhat unusual subculture of people that call themselves real-life superheroes, and they adopt their own superhero personas. And, they have mixed approaches to it. Some do a sort of charity or humanitarian thing, and others actually try to fight crime while they're dressed like a superhero. So I'm working on this book, and I was doing a blog that kind of updated on my progress. And I got an email from a man named Richard McCaslin. And he said, "Hey, I heard about your superhero project, and I just want to tell you about myself. I actually adopted this superhero persona called the Phantom Patriot. And in 2002, I raided a place called the Bohemian Grove, and I set it on fire and was arrested." So I got this message from him, and I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I looked up the Bohemian Grove and found a very weird story already, in that it's this secret society retreat for very wealthy, powerful men in the Redwood Forest. And every year they get together and they do this kind of bizarre mock ritual where they dress up in monk robes and they burn an effigy at the foot of a 40-foot statue of an owl. And I became very fascinated with this. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that revolve around the Bohemian Grove. I contacted Richard back and I said, yeah, I'm really interested in how you got to this place and what the Phantom Patriot is all about. And I ended up sort of interviewing him slowly over an 8-year period where I found out all about his life. I met him a few times in person. I started researching all the conspiracy theories he was telling me about. And it also sort of evolved into a book that's about why we are where we are now with so much conspiracy theory stuff in the news.
Yeah, I believe reading about Richard that it probably would have taken 8 years to tiptoe just to not piss him off.
Yeah, he was kind of slow about telling me certain parts of his story.
Mm-hmm.
And also during this period, I was kind of slowly contacting people who had known him throughout the years and interviewing them. So it was really a lesson in patience writing this book. And it was just one piece of the puzzle at a time, very slowly. But I think it all came together to become a very interesting story with a lot of really weird twists in it.
Yeah, this guy checks about every single box you have on interesting
Yeah.
for being like a superhero conspiracy theorist and
Former
going for a
stuntman.
lot of, like how far down the rabbit hole you're willing to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give away a lot of your book, but one of the things you mentioned, you might have been on another podcast, not even in your book, but you said something to the effect of, no, it was your book. Once something becomes too mainstream, conspiracy theorists are like hipsters and they have to go even further.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah, that was a really fun comparison, I think. It's like, there's a cool, hip, new bar or something, and people start going there, and then everyone finds out about it, and they show up as well. Well, the hipsters will be like, we need to get out of here and go someplace that nobody knows about. Mm-hmm. And conspiracy theorists are the same way, too. If they think that a theory is getting too popular or too mainstream, then they search for an explanation that maybe that first conspiracy was actually part of the conspiracy. So it's kind of this infinite Russian doll of different conspiracy theories.
Yeah, that was really cool. So in psychology, I wanted to ask you about Richard because you spent personal time with him. I know you talked to a psychologist about him, but what struck me was there's a term in psychology called personal fable. Have you heard of that at all?
I'm not familiar, but I think I see what you're saying already. But tell me.
It's natural in adolescence where you think that, to bluntly put it, that William gives as much a shit about me as I do. Like everybody, if you drive to work and you hit every stoplight and then you get fired for being late, it's because this guy called the city and set it up. So you would be, you kind of go that way. It's not like maybe you should have left 5 minutes earlier, which would have been easy, but the world revolves around you in such a way where you're the own star of your personal fable.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what I really felt like this guy had just by the way he was explaining everything.
Yeah, I think a very key moment early in his life is, Richard grew up in the 60s. There wasn't internet. Not a lot of people had cable TV. His father was somewhat abusive to him. His parents fought a lot, usually over money. So Richard very early on developed this escapism where he became very fascinated with superhero comics. He read those a lot when he was a kid, whenever he could. He started drawing and creating his own superhero characters. And that really shaped the direction of his life a lot. For one thing, it made him view the world very much as good versus evil, when we know that the world can be more nuanced than that. But he saw everything as sort of this struggle between good versus evil. He also kind of viewed relationships as being, Spider-Man swings and saves this damsel in distress. And that's kind of shaped his view of romance. And really everything he did in life. After high school, he joined the Marines because he saw that as a sort of superhero training. He went to stuntman school after he got out of the Marines because he wanted to learn how to be an action hero. It's really his worldview was superheroes.
It was interesting seeing how a stalker becomes a stalker without thinking that they're a stalker.
Oh yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah. So what you're talking about there is Richard developed at one point in his life a very strong and kind of delusional view of a country music singer that he was hoping that he was going to impress. And I tell the whole story in the book, but he just, I don't think he was like, it's hard to talk about because I don't think he was like a super creepy stalker, but he kind of engaged in stalker-like activity towards her. And this was during a period of his life where things were really falling apart in his life. he went through a really bad rough patch, and he was really searching for something. And that's where sort of this ideas about this country singer came about. And it's also when he started getting really wrapped up in conspiracy theory. I think he sort of had this void in his life, and he started filling it with exploring these conspiracy ideas.
Now you've met him a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
and schizophrenia is actually more rampant in our society than we realize. It's about 1% of the population. But what the family members always describe is there's a schizo look that they say when the person is coming down with it, and they describe it as almost a darkness. You have sunken eyes, malnourished, because that stuff doesn't matter anymore. Did you notice any of that in your encounters of him kind of physically changing into like a darker looking person?
I didn't really notice that physically too much. There were times where we'd be talking and he'd kind of stare off into nothing a little bit. Like his thoughts had kind of overwhelmed him from interacting with people. But one thing I think that's very interesting about him was that he saw this very elaborate hidden detail in a lot of stuff. So we might look around a room and it would just look like a normal room, but to him, he would see this symbolism everywhere. Especially, you know, if something had an owl on it, that meant it was symbolic of the Bohemian Grove because they had this owl statue. If you saw a skull, he would relate that to Skull and Bones, which is this college secret society on the Yale campus. Numbers, you know, the number 33 is the highest degree you can attain as a Freemason. So he sort of had these alarm bells that would go off whenever he saw these symbols, or, you know, if he saw something looking at it backwards, or if it made a certain design in his mind, then he would get this sort of paranoia about stuff that was probably just mundane, everyday stuff.
Now that's interesting that you use the word paranoia, because if you look at like the last 100 years of chess champions, about half of them have come down with schizophrenia. I mean, there's even like Russian chess champions that just walk outside naked and try to go about their day. They just lose their mind. And the theory is that when you're playing chess, it's an absolute game of paranoia because you have equal pieces and you're worried about what they're going to do and take your stuff. So you kind of give yourself schizophrenia by being paranoid for 15 hours a day. Do you think reading all of these conspiracies and the Alex Jones stuff and everything could cause someone to basically create their own schizophrenia in their mind?
Yeah. And, something I'll say about Richard, when I first started the book, I was telling a friend about this, and they're like, oh, this guy sounds like he's a dumb crackpot or something. But, I didn't think he was dumb at all. He was very well read in American history. He watched the news and was aware of what was going on in the world. I thought he was very creative. He created his own superhero costumes. He did comic illustration. Later in life, he produced these videos. So I thought he was a smart, creative individual. He just had like this deep belief in conspiracy that was always making him kind of angry and restless. And I think that, it all goes back to when he first got into it and he started listening to Alex Jones, who, if people don't know, Alex Jones runs a site called InfoWars. He pops up in the news quite a bit. And what I found is that he has a way of getting his raspy baritone voice into people's heads in a bad way. Richard was kind of patient zero for that. He believed Alex Jones, and then he went on this heavily armed raid into the Bohemian Grove because he believed what Alex Jones had been telling him. But he certainly wasn't the last case. Over the years, you'll read several stories of people who have loaded up guns because they wanted to raid someplace, and the name that keeps coming up is not Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper or even like Sean Hannity. It's usually Alex Jones or InfoWars. He just he's somewhat convincing in some of the stuff that he says. People latch onto his words and they become devoted followers. And then some of these people, I mean, it's a very small percentage, of course, just sort of get pushed over the edge by him.
Yeah, that's another thing about Alex Jones too. He's not an idiot, but
Yeah.
some of his things are crazy. But when he's talking about other stuff, you almost go like, "This is a well-spoken, very smart guy." Well, then
Right.
he must be right about turning frogs gay
Right.
into the water. You know,
Right.
Fluoride, yeah.
yeah. They were going to have a gay bomb go off on the frogs or something, and then it's like, "Whoa, where'd that come from? You were just being very intelligent a minute ago, and now you got a gay bomb frog." Or gay
Yeah, he's very good at saying, that he's this truth teller and that he's like a David versus a Goliath, and people really love that narrative. And it's true a little bit. I mean, so much of our media is owned by like 8 different companies, Disney, Comcast, AT&T. There's a handful of companies that control about 90% of all media. So, he really presents himself as fighting against the system. But in reality, one of his motivations is that he needs web traffic to go through his website because he sells these kind of snake oil diet supplements and stuff. And that's how he makes his money. And he's been very successful at it. He is a millionaire. So he makes millions of dollars off of hyping people up and being controversial and getting people to visit his website.
Do you feel that some of this might be our own government's fault because of all the lies and shady shit they've done to us over the years, that these aren't far-fetched? And we can go over like the MK Ultra and stuff.
Sure. I think I hope that I did a good job in my book of occasionally presenting something that is not a conspiracy. It might have sounded like a conspiracy when people first started hearing about it. But, there are some shocking, terrible stories of things that our government has done in the past. For example, the MK Ultra program. This was a CIA program where they wanted to find mind control drugs. So, they dosed unsuspecting people with LSD and other drugs and, put them through psychological torture, pretty much. And this was a terrible program that existed for decades. And we, would not have known about it or would have thought that it was just a conspiracy theory. Except, in the 70s, a large amount of the papers related to this program were leaked. And the only reason they were leaked was because they'd actually been filed incorrectly. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of programs like that where you're like, oh, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's true. So that really muddies the waters because it's hard to tell what's true and what's not, and what might have a grain of truth, but has been blown out of proportion.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is because you hear about Richard in the book talking about saving children from pedophilia or whatever, mm-hmm. and then you'll turn on CNN and Jeffrey Epstein is arrested, and you're like, wait, there's a pedophile island? Maybe this guy wasn't so far off. And this is like, if you talk to a criminal in prison, you'll say, what are you in for? And they'll say, 40 years for this. But is that the only crime you've ever committed? No. Well, that's the one you got caught for. So when we see this stuff, it's very natural to just think, what else are they doing?
Well, the manner in which he was killed or committed suicide also adds to the suspicion and the conspiracy theory behind it. I mean, it's, and then you see who's his accomplice that's just caught. And in the media, you see how they found all these raids on these places where they found 29 children here, 50 children here in these places. And some of them, ironically, were areas that, if you ever watch, there's a Netflix series on Jeffrey Epstein, and some of the places in geography actually match up to where they found these raids. So you're right. I mean, how deep does this really go, and who's involved?
Yeah, and then maybe you're like, we need the Phantom Patriot.
Well, I mean, that's something he raided the Bohemian Grove, and people called him a domestic terrorist and stuff like that. But I think it's important to realize his motivation was that he believed that there were children being held captive in this place, and that they were going to be killed and sacrificed in front of this owl statue. So, of course, he was upset about it. And so I think, his motivation was he really thought he was going to save people from dying. That's also, there's a very uncannily similar story that I talk about in my book, and I'm sure people might remember this because it's not from too long ago. But 2016, there was a guy named Edward Welch who raided a pizza place in Washington, D.C., Comet Ping Pong. And it was because he believed this conspiracy theory called Pizzagate, which, like you were saying, it mixes, real stories of pedophile rings, but they spun it to be that they were keeping people in this pizzeria in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And this guy had a very similar motivation. He loaded up a gun and he thought he was going to raid this pizza place and free all these child sex slaves. But like Richard, when he got there, of course, he found that it was just some bullshit on the internet and not a true story.
That's the scary thing about the internet these days is the guy at the end of the block holding the end is near sign now has 50,000 followers and everybody's listening to him instead of you just shrugging right by him.
So, but is it safe to say that there is, for lack of a better phrase, a healthy amount of paranoia? And the example I would use is, being in Grafton, Wisconsin, we live in a relatively safe place. But if you watch media, you watch protests, you watch the riots, you're almost coaxing yourself into believing that the world is very dangerous. So that's why I say, is there, in your opinion, is there a healthy amount of paranoia where, because some people may act to buy a gun, some people may act to, home security system, things like that. But is there a give and take in that situation? Because you could definitely go down the rabbit hole, as you said, on that. But is there a way that being in that sort of mindset is actually constructive and helpful for someone?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, paranoia and sort of a belief in a conspiracy, it's sort of a very old human survival tactic. You want to be a little bit paranoid. And I think that way of thinking is helpful. It helps you from being scammed. If you're suspicious of someone who has this offer that seems to be too good to be true, then that's a healthy trait that you have, having that suspicion. Or, if you feel like someone is following you and you take steps to make sure that you get home safely, maybe that person was just walking down the street behind you, but your survival instinct tells you, maybe I should switch up my route so I take a safer path home. So I think that those feelings are very natural and very helpful for us to survive. But as you mentioned, there's sort of this fine line that you cross over where you're getting into heavy conspiracy thinking. And once you cross over that line, I've found that it's very hard to step backwards over it. And you kind of rapidly begin to believe more and more stuff. So, for example, in one of the chapters, I went to a flat Earth conference where these people, yes, actually believe that the world is flat and that the government has been lying to us and NASA has been lying to us. But a study of those people showed that almost 99% of those people had gone on YouTube because they were looking for other conspiracies, maybe about 9/11 or vaccines or something like that. And they fell down this YouTube rabbit hole where YouTube was pushing flat Earth videos on them. And that's how they became flat earthers. So, maybe not all conspiracy theorists are like that, but a lot of them take this step and then it leads to more and more steps descending down this weird path.
So how do you, this is just a journalist question, how do you deal with basically a fragile individual like that for a decade and keep getting information out of them?
I think this is sort of a culmination of talking to a lot of people that have maybe had, unique ideas over the years. You know, I always approach people that I want to write about, and I'm very honest with them, or I try to be as honest as I can. I guess you don't want to be too honest. You know, I'm usually very respectful and listen more than I talk. And, you know, I just got him talking, and he was very eager to tell someone his story. He had actually been trying to tell his story to different media outlets, and most of them just dismissed him as being kind of, you know, a crackpot. But I was very interested in his story, you know. So I just kind of respectfully listened to him, and he started talking, and that's just the way it went. Now, he actually did get mad at me a couple of times. We talked about different stuff, and he got a little bit irritated with me, but, you know, we talked it out.
So how do you remain objective in a situation like that? Because obviously you're dealing with someone who is very convinced of their thoughts.
Yeah.
And I haven't read the book, so I can't say one way or another, but I would assume that some of their conspiracy theories and things that they think they want to make you believe as well, which kind of, I would think, validates their opinion.
It helps when you're a 6'5.5", 300-pound gorilla with baseball mitts.
Well, true. But the question is how do you not get, as an author and trying to, as Tom was just saying, gather information in a delicate manner, not allow yourself to be sucked in, you know, and to stay objective and to put this on an outside basis or outside perspective. You know, for me, I think I would be like listening to this guy, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, that is so true, really!" And I would start researching things and looking at it. And next thing, I'm the Phantom Patriot. So
yeah,
It's not
there's a couple of things I'll say in answer to that. One, you know, I have always had the goal to be objective when I'm writing. However, you know, Richard is someone I got to know over about 8 years, and I did consider him to be a friend just because we talked a lot and stuff like that. And the story, this book, I think more than the other books I've written, is a little bit of a personal story. Like, I don't talk about myself too much in the book, but I do allow a couple of parts where my opinion comes through. Like at one point, Richard tells me about something, and I write what I thought when he told me that, which was, oh shit, what is he talking about now? But so the other thing was, I guess I've always been very skeptical, and part of that is my love of journalism. So Richard really wasn't convincing me of his ideas. In fact, all of his ideas I looked at very skeptically. And I could tell that sometimes he was irritated that I wasn't going along with him. But again, you know, I would just say things like, that sounds very interesting, Richard. I'll look into it and see what I can find. Or one rule I had during writing the book was, if Richard told me I had to read a book, I would read that book. So I ended up reading quite a few conspiracy books. And of course, I didn't grow to appreciate those ideas. In fact, most of the books he gave me made me even more skeptical about everything, because they were kind of delusional and poorly sourced. So, but, you know, at the same time, like I said, if he told me I needed to read something, I would. So I think he appreciated that I was at least listening to him and following his suggestions, even if I wasn't agreeing with him in what his conclusions were.
Not to give too much away, but
Sure.
If the book didn't end the way it ended, would you have wrote this book?
Sure. I guess we can, if you want to talk about it, we could say that there's going to be a spoiler.
I don't want to say anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a spoiler of the book if you want to go into it without knowing anything. But Richard dies at the end of the book. He died in 2018, and I think he was overwhelmed with everything, and he chose to take his own life. You know, and so it's really funny because right about when this was happening, I was gearing up to finish the book. I was like, the time is now. I want to finish this book. I was like, I think Richard's going to be kind of pissed off about a couple of things that I wrote about in this book. But I also think that ultimately he wanted more than anything to have someone tell his story. So I think he would have been irritated with some things that I wrote, and I probably would have gotten an angry email. But after he got over that, I think he would be glad that I had written this book about him and that he was being talked about on Off the Rails and other media that I've done. That's really what he wanted. He wanted people to talk about his story and about his life. So,
I was actually worried till I got to the end of the book. Like, I don't know what type of questions I should be asking. Is this Phantom Patriot going to show up?
Is it's going to show up at our door?
Yeah. Oh, so here's a funny story related to that, by the way. I wonder, but Tom, you probably read the chapter where I mentioned that Les Claypool of Primus wrote a song about this guy.
With the cannonballs and
right, yeah. Les Claypool, who lives near the Bohemian Grove, saw a short news bit on Richard rating it, so he wrote this song called "Phantom Patriot," and I was like, "Oh, I want to talk to Les Claypool about this." So I started emailing his talent agency, and I emailed them several times, and I was like, "Hey, could I do an interview with Les Claypool? I'm writing a book about this guy that he wrote a song about." Finally, they're like, "All right, dude, we're going to give you 10 minutes on the phone with Les Claypool." And I'm super excited because I loved Primus when I was young and stuff like that. I finally get him on the phone. And Les Claypool's first thing that he says is, "Do I need to be worried about this guy? Is he like going to track me down at a show and kill me?" And I was like, "No, I don't think he will." But it was a sort of short, awkward conversation, which was mostly him just worried about Richard possibly, coming at him.
Yeah,
That's a valid concern.
Yeah,
it would be. So, well, everybody, I think this book is amazing.
I
As soon as
definitely want to read it.
if you pick it up, you're not going to be able to put it down. And T, what else you got going on? You still doing the ghost tours? Can we do that in this time?
Yes. So American Ghost Walks is the name of the company now, and we do a couple of different Milwaukee tours. Because of the pandemic, we're doing the tours, but they're very limited. We only have 15 people on the tours, and of course they're all outside, and we tell people to give each other enough elbow room. We're doing a Milwaukee Paranormal Conference October 9th through the 11th. It's going to be a virtual only event. But it's kind of cool because it's going to be free and you can attend from your couch. And we're going to have some guest speakers and panels. And you can find out more at MilwaukeeParacon.com.
Yeah, I noticed you had that postponed, but you're getting that going, so that's good.
Better than nothing, I guess, doing a virtual event.
Hopefully you can be back at the college next year.
Yeah.
Where we were. That was awesome. All right, everybody. Well, T, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure. Come in next time. Make sure you sign my book.
I will.
All right, everybody. And feel free to like, share, subscribe, follow, check out everything we got to offer. Go check out T. And remember, universe, we're not good enough.
Thanks for tuning in, universe.